So in this video, we're going to be adding our button underneath this section. We're going to be adding our button underneath these boxes here, these three boxes. So we're going to be adding it right here. So let's just quickly dive into our text editor. Let's go to our index.html. So since we're going to be adding this underneath our boxes, why don't we just create another row inside of the container? Yeah, I think that's what we need to do. Let's create another row inside of the container, because the button is just like another section, but it is still inside of the container that is containing our boxes. So we'll just add another row inside of the container. So we just say div class of row, and inside of our row, remember, we always have the column. So say div class col, and this time we're going to use column 12. So now if you check in the CSS styling, you can see where I specified the column 12, and I gave it a width of 100%. So this button is going to be taking a width of 100%. Okay, it's going to be taking a width of 100% of the screen. So the next thing we need to do here, let's create our button inside of this column. So say you just specify your button and you close your button tag, and I want to name this button order now. Now let's see how this looks on our web page. If we refresh now, you can see this little button here we have on the left hand side of our screen, but we need to make this button big, and we need to center it here on our web page, and we are going to be styling it, so don't worry. So the next thing we need to do here, we need to give this button a class, okay, because we are going to be styling this button, of course. So we are just going to call the class since it's an order now button, we'll just call it order now for the class. Order now, that's appropriate. Okay, we are just going to call it order now for the class. So the next thing we need to do here, let's go over to our styles of CSS and start styling this button. So let's go inside of our custom styles. Let's get our button element. We'll say button, then we should start styling this button. So we are going to give this a font size. We're going to give this a font size of 32 pixels. Font size of 32 pixels. Now let's see how this looks. You can see it's a little bit big now, so let's continue adding more styles to it. So after a font size, we're going to give it a font weight of 700, because we want it bold. Font weight of 700, and then we're going to give it a color of white. We're also going to give it a background color. We're going to give it a background color of blue. Let's see how this is looking on our web page. Refresh. Now this is looking quite good here. Well, like I said, we are going to be centering this on our web page. So let's continue building this. So after that, we are going to give this we should give this a display of block, because we are going to be moving this button. You know, when you display an element in a block, it's very easy to move that element around. So make sure you display that element, the button, in a block. After that, we are going to give this a padding. Give it a padding of let me just put this on and I'll explain it. Padding of 15 pixels and 60 pixels. Now you remember how we set 4 values here: 30, 18, 20, and 18 pixels. Remember, we set this value for the padding, and I told you before that this first parameter is for the top, that is going clockwise. The first perimeter is for the top, the second perimeter is for the right, the third perimeter is for the bottom, and the fourth perimeter is for the left. So it's going clockwise. Now when you have two values here like this, since the first perimeter as always is for the top, it will look at the top, and then it will go to the next perimeter, which we specified as 60 pixel, and it will know that the second perimeter is for the right. So since it will come here back again, and since this is 15 pixels for the top, it will apply the effect to the top and the bottom. And since this second perimeter is for the right, it will apply the effect for the right and the left. So automatically now we are going to be having a 15 pixels of padding on the top and the bottom of our button, and we are going to have a padding of 60 pixels for the right and the left of our button. So that is how this works when specifying two values for your padding. The first perimeter is for the top and the bottom. The second perimeter is going to be for the left and the right. Okay, so let's refresh this and see how it's looking. Let's refresh here. Now you can see we have a huge button here, but we are going to continue on with styling this button. We are not done yet. So we are going to give this a text align of center. Now this text align of center is going to only apply to the text inside of the button. So we say text align of center, and then we are going to say, because I want some space inside of that. I want to maybe if other elements come too close to this button, so because I want some space, I'm just going to give this button a margin of 5 pixels, just a little margin there, because I want some space with the button and also with other elements. And we are going to give this a border radius of 7 pixels. A border radius of 7 pixels. And let's see how this is looking. This is looking brilliant. You can see we are now having curved the edges of our button. Now they are now curved. This is the work of the border radius. So like I said, we need to move this to the center here on our web page. So let's continue on with what we are doing. This time we are going to be working with the class. So this is for the button. So now we need to be, since we want to center this button, let's work with the class. So you say, let me just create some space here. So you say button, and after your button you call your class, and the class name is order now. Don't forget button.order now. Button.order now, and we're going to display this in a block once again, because we want this button to be easy to move around. So we are going to display this in a block, and this property here, we are going to say margin of auto. Now what this margin of auto is doing, as you know, the button, there is a lot of space right now on the right hand side of the button. So if we go over to our web page now, you can see there's a lot of space here. Before I refresh this, you can see there's a lot of space here on the right side of this button. Now it's going to take the space, and distribute it evenly on each side of the button, which is going to automatically center it on our web page. Okay, so that's the work of the margin auto. It will automatically center the button on our web page and make sure you display it in a block. Okay, so now if we refresh this now you can see our button is now on the center of our web page. Okay, so now let's check for our mobile view, if this is mobile responsive. Let's go over here. So now let's resize our browser if this is mobile responsive. Resize here. I'm sorry, this is too much. So this is for the mobile view. So now let me bring this up here so you can see this properly. Let's see if our button is mobile responsive. So going down, everything is looking responsive. Our boxes, they are responsive. Everything is responsive, including our button. As you can see, our button is mobile responsive. We have a very huge button here. So this is looking good so far. We have everything is looking good here. Everything is responsive from top to bottom, everything is responsive. So congratulations, and just give yourself a pat on the back because you did an awesome job. If you are following on with this tutorial, and if you have done this, you are doing an awesome job. So everything here is looking responsive. Okay, so we are going to continue on with building our website. We are going to be creating more sections underneath of this web page. Okay, so congratulations to you as we keep on moving on. So I'll see you guys in the next video.